Well, hello, welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm Tina, and this is Hanging with Frugal Tina. Thank you all for tuning in. So, today's dinner, we're going to make something I've never made before. I've heard about this before, but I've never actually eaten it. And apparently, it's just a common thing that I've never had. So, I'm going to make a dish using couscous. I was gifted 2 bags of it, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to cook it, but I'm going to figure it out. And today we're going to do that. So without further ado, let's get it. Let's go. Let's heat up those pots. Come on. All right, here's everything you're going to need. You're going to need the couscous. I have 2 of those bags that were gifted to me, but I'm only going to be using the one, I believe. You need some garlic. You need some chicken broth or water. Chicken broth is just going to give a little bit more flavor, so I'm using the bouillon, some olive oil. I have a can of peas out there. You could do this with or without vegetables. I feel like I wanted to add some peas to it. You need a pepper. Some things I saw with this had just a green pepper. Some had a red pepper. Some had an orange pepper. So blah, 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 blah. So I have 2 halves of a pepper. That's what we're going to use. You don't need an onion, but there's an onion out there. You could use onion powder, all the rest of that. Salt and pepper, and those 2 carrots out there, I'm just throwing them in because they're looking super funky, and I wanted to get them out of my refrigerator. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the slicing and dicing, so we can just go over to the stove and just start throwing things in the pan. All right, for the carrots, I just cut them in half. I'm just going to dice these up. It's probably too much to do. Just like little half moons, like that. Just like that. That's all I'm going to do. Now, I have not seen this made before. I've seen a couple of different things that I'm going to try and put it together with what I have in my house and what I think my family will eat. I'm going to do this one at a time. I feel like I'm going to cut myself. All right. So, slice the carrots. All right, there we go. Coming down the last little bit right there. Let me get that into a bowl with some water so they don't get like all funny looking. All right, for the peppers, again, it usually doesn't matter, but I think I'm going to dice mine just like this, just chunks. I'm going to leave them a tiny bit larger so that you can see them in there, but other than that, I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, there we go. That's what I got. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the kielbasa, and then we'll be over to the stove. Oh, no, we won't. I have to cut up the onion first, then the kielbasa. All right, so you can dice the onion up any old kind of way you want. So I'm going to dice mine up like I did the peppers. Just like that. Ooh. There we go. Just like that. About that size. All right. There we go. What's left now is the kielbasa, and then we're done. The kielbasa, I'm going to cut it on an angle, and the reason I do that is I feel like I get a little bit more coverage. I could get more like the browning on it when I do it on an angle like this. So I'm just going to go a little bit slower because I'm using my little knife. Actually, I'm just use my big knife. Pardon the hand. All right, so I'm just going to cut it on an angle. Boom. All right. There we go. Just try not to cut my fingers with this last little piece. Oops. And then I go and stab myself. I'm just going to quarter that one up. You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to take these diagonally cut kielbasa, and I'm going to cut those in half. It just spreads around farther, in my opinion. So it's time to move over to the stove. I'm just going to slice this up a little bit, and I'll meet you over at the stove. All right, so getting my pan hot, we're going to add in the kielbasa. It's already cooked, but we just want to sear the meat, and then we're going to take it out. And if you have to do it in batches, do it. But I think I could do it. I have a very large pan. All right, so let's let that sit for a minute so we can brown it up. All right, let's see what's going on. Oh yeah. I'll show you in a second. Let me just move them around so they don't burn. So, something like that. And that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to mix this up and then let them flip them over and let it sear the other side, and out of the pan it comes. That's good. I'm taking that out of the pan, and we'll set that aside. I'm going to reduce my heat a little bit. Just take this out. To this, we're going to add the onions. And the carrots. And I'm going to turn that heat up just a little bit because I turned it down a little bit too much. Now we're just going to cook these for a few minutes till the edges of the onions start turning a little bit. And then we'll start adding the other vegetables. All right, let's give that a minute. All right, to the onions, I'm going to add some salt. For the onions and carrots. Got to add a nice big old pinch. I kind of stuck to my hand a little bit. Almost forgot. All right. So now we're going to add the peppers. Just want to give those a head start. I did add a little bit more oil in the pan because I felt like it was going to suck it all up. So, there go the peppers. I've seen people use tomatoes here too, but I'm going to go with this. All right, let's give that a few minutes to kind of soften a little bit. All right, you don't want these super done. They still got quite a bite to them. Like, look, let me see if I can get one of my carrots. See? You still got quite a bit of bite to them. But these are going to cook for a while once I add the couscous in, and I don't want it to be mush. So, I'm going to add some garlic in. Let me get the garlic. All right. I'm going to add a big old heaping or so in there. Going to give that a minute. Alrighty. There we go. Alright. Let me get the couscous now. This is coming along very quickly. All right, so we're going to add the couscous. Now, I've seen different methods where you put it in and you brown it like you do rice, and then you add the liquid, or you just add this and then add the liquid. I think I'm going to add the couscous, stir it around for a minute or two, literally, and go from there. Because everything else is coming back in the pan. So I got a cup and a half, or the 10 ounces. What I've also found is that this couscous, and this is what it looks like, more than doubles in size. I was like, that's not going to feed my family. Yeah, well, it might. No, it will. Not might. Because we don't have a plan B. Not even sure if we're going to need the peas, but we'll see. All right, so they're changing colors, and that's what the lady said when I watched hers. So we're going to add the sausage back in. And we're going to add equal parts water. So whatever amount of couscous you put in there is the amount of water you're going to add. We're going to bring that to a boil. So I turn the heat up a little bit. Let's get that to a boil. All right, so we're coming to a boil. I'm trying to get all the stuff down into the water. Now, what it says, and even the package says, put a lid on it and simmer for 10 to 12 minutes. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn it down a little bit and put a lid on it. I'm gonna throw the peas in last minute once I see how much this makes. So here we go. Setting a timer. Nearly forgot. It said to add some butter, which I think we have enough oil in there, but I'm going to put a little bit in there. A little plastic spoon. And season generously with salt and pepper. So we're going generous. Okay. That's generous enough for me. I'm going to give it a mix and then mush it down like I just did and put the lid back on it. Good thing I started. It started to stick. All right. Put the lid back on. I might add a little bit more liquid. All right. All right. That has been 10 minutes. From beginning to end, I guess, not 10 minutes since I last talked to you. Oh yeah, that's coming right off the bottom. That looks good. I'm just gonna try one of them little couscous things and see if they're tender enough, because I said 10 to 12, and I don't want to add more liquid and make it mushy. Let me get a little plastic spoon or something. All right. I never use metal when I'm going in because I always burn my mouth. Let's see what we got going on here. I'm gonna grab a couple from all over the pan. All right. In she goes. That's perfect. I'm not going any farther. It does need a little bit more seasoning though. I'm gonna turn that off. It needs more pepper. And I think it needs a pinch more salt. I'm afraid that it might be too salty when you mix in the kielbasa in your bite. You know what? Let me just try it. All right, I'm going to add a pinch of salt to it. It said liberally, but one person's liberal is somebody else's thin. All right, let me just plate this up, and we're going to see what this whole dish tastes like and what this couscous stuff is all about. I almost forgot to put the peas in there. What am I thinking? Now, it said a half a cup of peas and a half a cup of carrots. I'm just going with the peas. That's not all of them, but I just want to stir it up. See, I don't want to put too much in there. Yeah, those are going to warm through. I think I'm going to stop there. You can see that in there. It's about that much of the can. We're going to let that warm through. I forgot to add the peas, so I'm going to give it a minute to warm up. They're already cooked, though. Looks even better now with the peas in there. All right, now I'm going to meet you at the plate. And there's my plate. I'm going to meet you at the table.
If you get any benefit at all from my content, you can help me out by clicking like, share, commenting, and definitely hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video.
Dinner time! Can't wait to eat this. Eric said, what is that? He said, it looks like yellow, what'd you say, yellow what?
Caviar.
Oh, yellow caviar. I'm like, it's not caviar, honey. I'm gonna go with a fork. You got carrots in here, you got, I don't know what I'm screaming for. You got carrots in here, you have peppers, onions, kielbasa, and peas. I got a little bit of everything on my fork. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Mmm.
Mm.
That's good. Wow. Wow. I've never had it, so I'm like, I don't even know how to describe it. Now I know what you do all the time when you're getting all these new things and you don't know how to describe it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's got a little bite to it. It doesn't really taste like pasta. It's not like, it looks like tapioca, but it's not like mushy like that. I don't know. It's really good. I just don't know how to describe something I've never had. But you're going to have to try it. So let me get everybody else fed and see what they think about it. Bye-bye. Dinner's over. How we do? Boom. That is left, but that is Aiden's plate because we had to take him back over to the hospital. His mommy's sitting with him right now, but hopefully he'll be home and he can eat it. Trey already ate his. He said, what was that? And I said, it was couscous. And he was like, I like it, Grandma. I like it. So there you have it. Let's see what Tyler thought about it. Tyler, what did you think about the little couscous meal?
That was great. I loved it very much.
Yeah, there you go. Eric, what did you think?
Honestly, I think it was amazing. I really liked how it was new and different. And I really liked the new pasta. I think it's pasta.
It is pasta, yeah. I didn't know either. How about that? Eric absolutely devoured it. He ate his and mine because I only ate a little bit and he was like, you gonna eat that? So I just gave it to him. Here's the thing. I made enough. It should have served 6. I think that maybe it would have if I served something else with it. But I was just thinking like, yeah, you got the meat, you got the pasta, you got the vegetable. It's all in one thing, slice of bread. So I really feel like the 5 servings that it made from what I showed you, it really made 5 servings this way. If you were serving it with something else, then you would get 6 servings out of it. So I'll find out what Aiden thinks about it when he gets back. And I'll let you know. I'll put up the on the screen what he thinks about it. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's unique to me. Now I'm going to go on the hunt for other couscous recipes. So, all right. I hope you try it. I hope you like it. Leave me a comment. Either way, see you later. Bye.